In the heart of Western Wynandir, beyond the haunted ruins of the Calamity and the lawless wilds of the frontier, there stands a realm of perfect discipline. There, within the fertile breadth of the Marrow Valley, peace is paid for in silence, loyalty, and gold. This is the Dwendalian Empire. For over 12 generations, the empire has ruled with an iron will, its strength drawn from regiments of armored soldiers, a network of government-controlled temples, and the shadowed council of the Cerberus Assembly. Here, laws are not debated, they are enforced. Worship is not chosen, it is permitted. Magic is not feared, it is owned. At the empire's center towers Rex Centrum, its capital city, where the walls bristle with banners and blades, and the eyes of the crown miss nothing. From the moment the Dwendalian line seized power, rebellion followed. The most severe came early, a faith-fueled insurrection led by civilians who believed divine will could outmatch imperial law. They were wrong. The revolt was crushed with brutal efficiency, its leaders executed in a display known forever as the Admonition. Since then, the empire has never forgotten the lesson. Religion inspires rebellion, and rebellion is not tolerated. Now, in his 68th year, King Bertrand Dwendal sits the throne. A man of imposing stature, unbending will, and worsening suspicion. He rewards loyalty. He punishes failure. His grip on the empire is as tight as ever, yet cracks have begun to show. His son, Prince Edis, has failed to produce an heir. His court grows restless, and the king, ever more aware of time's slow march, seeks means unnatural to preserve his reign. Beneath the banners of the Dwendalian Empire marches the righteous brand, its military fist 35,000 strong, clad in discipline and steel. They man the borders, march through the streets, and stand ever ready to face the empire's enemies, both foreign and domestic. Alongside them, the Crown's Guard, a leaner force of just over 5,000, serves as the ever-watchful eye within the cities, guarding the peace and the throne. Together, they enforce a vision of order built not on trust, but obedience. But steel is only half the weapon, the other is spell. In the shadow of the throne stands the Cerberus Assembly, a council of arcane elites whose power rivals the crown itself. Each member wields magic that could level battalions, and many rose through the halls of the Soltrice Academy, where talent is molded into loyalty or ambition. These mages serve as enforcers, advisors, and rivals to the king. Their allegiance is practical, not pure. And behind every collaboration between the assembly and the throne lies a quiet wish to see the other fall. Though bound by law to serve the empire, the assembly has its own designs, whispering across courts and coin masters, positioning agents across cities and slowly testing the limits of royal patience. King Dwendal watches them with the same paranoia they reserve for him. Each handshake masks a dagger. Long ago, the empire learned to fear the power of belief. The rebellion known as the Admonition began not with swords but sermons, led by faithful civilians who rose against the crown in the name of gods the king could not command. The rebellion was crushed, its leaders executed, and from its ashes rose a new doctrine. Religion must serve the empire or not exist at all. Today, within the Dwendalian Empire, worship is not outlawed, but it is controlled. All temples are state-owned. All clergy are paid by the crown, and all sermons are drawn from texts rewritten by imperial hands. Any who pray beyond the walls of approved sanctuaries do so in secret, risking imprisonment or worse. Only 6 deities are permitted within the empire's walls: Erathis, the Lawbearer; Bahamut, the Platinum Dragon; Moradin, the Allhammer; Pelor, the Dawnfather; Iaun, the Knowing Mentor; and the Raven Queen, Matron of Death. The rest are labeled heretical, their shrines destroyed or hidden in shadows. At the heart of this machinery is Theolocrat Con Bruda, once a monk of the Cobalt Soul, now a bureaucrat wrapped in silk and compromise. He no longer speaks for the gods, only for the crown. His office rewrites ancient texts, softening dogma, altering language, shaping faith into a tool of statecraft. In recent years, Con has been tasked with a new directive: align the scriptures with empire-friendly ideology, shifting blame for hardship onto heretics beyond the borders, and turning divine worship into patriotic duty. But no chain is perfect. Beneath the sanctioned prayers and censored chants, whispers rise. Hidden shrines glow in forest caves and cellar floors, and some clerics still preach the words as they were meant to be spoken, quietly, carefully, dangerously. Life under the Dwendalian Empire is orderly, structured and suffocating. For the common citizen, peace is found in routine. Streets are patrolled, walls are guarded, laws are enforced. But behind that peace is a machine of governance designed to reward compliance and punish independence. Every city and township is overseen by a starosta, a local noble appointed jointly by the Crown and the Cerberus Assembly. Beneath them serve 6 civic officials: the Watchmaster, who commands the city guard; the Warmaster, who leads the local military; the Coinmaster, keeper of trade and taxes; the Pithmaster, who maintains infrastructure; the Idolmaster, who oversees religious practices; and the Lawmaster, who interprets and enforces Imperial law. These offices are absolute within their regions and fully accountable to Rexentrum. Twice each year, Imperial tithe collectors arrive, known across the Empire as the Reapers. They knock on doors, demand records, and tally earnings. Every coin is counted, every household scrutinized. Those who cannot pay feel the burden of bureaucracy and the sting of enforcement. Yet beneath this administrative weight lies a more insidious hierarchy. A caste system forged in magic. Those born with arcane power, or those who earn it through study at Soltrice Academy, are vaulted above their peers. Nobles boast of sorcerous bloodlines. Political appointments often favor spellcasters. The Cerberus Assembly, fed by this system, extends its influence deep into Imperial life. To live within the Empire is to trade freedom for stability, choice for safety. For many, it is a bargain worth making. For others, it is a golden prison, one whose walls gleam not with mercy, but with surveillance, suspicion, and silent obedience. The Dwendalian Empire is ruled not only by law and tradition, but by the careful dance of those who walk its marble halls. Power here is not shouted. It is whispered, negotiated, and buried in protocol. At the center of it all sits King Bertrand Dwendal, a man whose ambition is rivaled only by his paranoia. Bertrand is a monarch shaped by discipline and loss. Since the death of his wife, Duvia, nearly a decade ago, his isolation has deepened. While he proclaims loyalty to the Empire above all else, his every move is shadowed by fear of rebellion, of foreign interference, of the Cerberus Assembly, and of his own fading legacy. With no heir yet produced by his son, he obsesses over ways to extend his life, desperate to preserve the line he believes is irreplaceable. Around him, the court teems with players, each with their own agenda. Chamberlain Quicilia Veer, an elf of quiet wisdom, manages the royal household with grace. Loyal and honest, she serves as Bertrand's moral anchor, though her voice is often drowned by the weight of his suspicions. Prince Idis, the king's only child, is a warrior by blood, but not by ambition. Once eager for approval, he now wallows in disappointment, living a life of extravagance while quietly resenting the throne he was born to inherit. His wife, Princess Surya, proud and ambitious, refuses to accept their failure to conceive. She searches in secret for unnatural solutions, whatever it takes to win back the king's favor. Beyond the palace, more hands shape the empire. Prime Arbiter Sidnok Truscan, the king's most ruthless legal advisor, roots out unsanctioned faith with zeal, driven by a personal hatred of religious authority. His estranged daughter, Lydia, now advocates for civil liberties in Zadash, a wound he covers with increased cruelty. Crown Marshal Hayden Damurag, a decorated veteran, directs the Empire's war efforts from the front. Practical, principled, and intolerant of palace politics, they serve the king with loyalty but little patience for ceremony. Exchequer Ethia Drews, ever vigilant over the Empire's wealth, finds joy in perfect numbers and tighter ledgers. Her obsession with financial control makes her indispensable and feared. Guildmaster Kai Arnes, known as Goldfang, rules the merchant guilds with a smile lined in fangs. Guided by secret worship of Asmodeus and fueled by ambition, he walks the Empire's gilded corridors as both magnate and manipulator. And among the few who openly challenge Imperial stagnation stands Argonomist June Whiston, a half-elf folk hero risen from poverty to power. Her push to reform agricultural policy has made her a symbol to the poor and a thorn in the side of the crown, which now drowns her in red tape rather than dare remove her. Lastly, in the quietest corners of the court moves Oliver Schreiber, the royal retainer, humble, discreet, and always present. But beneath the surface he commands the Augen Trust, the Empire's most secretive spy network, loyal to the king and invisible to all but a trusted few. These are the hands that shape the Dwendalian Empire. Some tighten its grip, others test its bounds, and all of them, knowingly or not, sit at the edge of a storm. The walls of the Dwendalian Empire have always stood tall against the unknown, but now they echo with the sound of war. To the east, beyond the Ashkeeper Peaks, lies Xhorhus, a realm once written off as cursed land, but no longer. From the darkness has risen the Kryn Dynasty, a militaristic force driven by strange gods and stranger beliefs, and the Empire has taken notice. What began as tension has erupted into open conflict. The Empire calls it a holy cause, a defense of civilization against heresy. And to ensure the people believe, the crown spins a web of propaganda. Rumors swell of drow raids, of children stolen in the night, of beasts in the dark that feed on the innocent. These stories flow through every tavern, temple, and tithe house, not as questions but as truth. The Empire has moved its might accordingly. The righteous brand now anchors its greatest force along the Eastern Front. At their head stands Crown Marshal Hayden de Murag, a seasoned strategist hardened by 2 decades of service. Detached from the politics of court, Hayden fights to hold the line, not for glory, but for the safety of the soldiers who march beneath them. Within the cities, the war is felt in subtler ways. Prices rise, prayers shift. The theolocrat, Con Bruder, softens imperial doctrine to focus rage beyond the borders, rewriting faith to stoke loyalty. In homes and markets, citizens are reminded that the Kryn are monsters, cannibals, desecrators, enemies of light. Unity, the crown says, is the only shield. And yet, the Empire's true enemy may not lie beyond its borders, but within. Every war fought abroad tests the foundations at home, and while soldiers bleed in the east, cracks are forming in the streets of Rexcentrum. The Dwendalian Empire is landlocked, its reach hemmed in by stone, swamp, and suspicion. To sustain itself, it must look outward, but never with open arms. Though its banners stretch across Western Wynandir, true alliances are rare, and trust even rarer. To the southwest lies the Clovis Concord, rulers of the Menagerie Coast. Trade with the Concord is essential: salt, silk, spices, and shipping lanes, but relations remain cold. Elsewhere, overtures are ignored. The Council of Tal'Dorei has made offers of diplomacy, and the distant city of Anchorel has extended goodwill. But the crown replies only with silence. To King Dwendal, these nations are distractions, foreign courts full of dangerous ideals. Every ambassador is a risk, every alliance a possible betrayal. From the marble towers of Rexcentrum to the front lines of war, the Dwendalian Empire clings to power through law, might, and fear. But across the Ashkeeper Peaks, a new force rises, one born not of order, but of revelation. Beneath a violet moon and the gaze of a strange god, the Kryn Dynasty marches to a rhythm older than time. Their truth is not written in lawbooks, it is etched in the cycles of rebirth, in the will of the Luxon. Like, subscribe, and follow us into the Underdark as we uncover the radiant power and shadowed secrets of the Kryn Dynasty, the Empire's greatest rival and perhaps its final reckoning.